so scary. Oh shit! Did it just move?
Hello?
Hi.
How to mute you? How'd it go?
I guess I'll hear back. Basically, the problem is whoever... My pharmacy sent a message to the prescriber because the insurance needed to change it, and they never got back to them. And it's been like a week now. And then so I had to call them, and they should hopefully kick their ass. I can finally get this shit going. Because it's been like 2 weeks since I was prescribed this shit.
Let's do this quick, shall we?
Fighting the big giant rock spider. Oh my god! Gotta shoot it in the top part of it and you break its armor. There's a lot of damage. I don't know why. I'm not gonna have enough ammo to kill this motherfucker. Oh, the little mini boys drop ammo. Okay, let's do this. Move. Dude, the fact that I just reach in health by doing damage is nice. Reach it. Whoa. Oh my god. Lava hot. It's a Dark Souls boss with 3 phases, and it turns into a bigger monstrosity. Somehow it connects to the lava, and it becomes uber ridiculous. Yeah, I don't like this. Rocket launcher time. Boom, baby. Rocket launch that bitch. I forgot I had the rocket launcher, but I pulled it out at the end. Ended that phase. GG. Game over. Big Spider Dead Arena. Slap that bitch in the face.
I'm gonna log on to WoW. I got a patch first. Great.
Yes, it's LFR and it's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
I need some sweet tarts. These are so good. We had like little mini ones at work, like 3 in a packet, and I forgot how good sweet tarts are, seriously.
Sound like sour candy.
Sweet tarts aren't that sour, you pussy bitch. They're not even sour. They're just like tangy. They're really good.
No, well, that's not what I like with my sweet thing. That's what I want.
And then get Smarties. Smarties are just non-tangy.
I'll give the order to have the cable car ready right away.
Sweet tarts. I don't know. Yeah, they're tarts.
Smarties are fine.
I think it was Ethan Klein. It was like, oh, Smarties are F tier candy. Like, no, they're not. Smarties
I used to like them as a
amazing.
kid, but I don't really like them anymore.
I wasn't asking you.
Not too bad.
Sequel to World War I, previously alive President Harry Truman established the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, for the sake of upholding American national security. And by national security, this meant just shooting ropes of American influence across the globe to protect American interests. Interests that would soon be threatened by the Soviet Union. Having just fought side by side as allies in World War II, both the US and the USSR quickly turned on each other thanks to ideological differences, thus kickstarting the Cold War. The USSR scrambled to establish a geopolitical foothold in now German unoccupied territories across Eastern Europe. You are German now. Okay. And now, you
There's something
Soviets.
out there to fear, all right.
All right.
We don't know what
Not
it
only
is.
did this grant the USSR expanded access to natural resources, but it also provided a sort of Ferris sheet, if you will, of communist countries around
We're all
the
wishing
motherland's
you'd been with
Western
us
Front.
months ago.
The United
Now we
States,
might have a
having
fighting
just witnessed
chance
the
of taking
abhorrent
back this
conditions under
mountain.
Stalin's totalitarian
Tell
control,
me how to
was
work
all
the cable,
absolutely
Captain.
not, and sought
I
to
need to get
prevent
my
any of that
scientists up
smelly
to that
communist influence from leaking
Right.
across the rest of Europe.
Only one
All right,
small
which one
problem.
looks better?
The cable car we control
No,
doesn't go to the
come
tower.
on, Poland.
straight
Focus.
to the
But
heart
the
of
very
insurgent
last thing the US needed was to have communistic influence take root and grow from within. So in order to stamp out that possibility, the US government needed to remind Americans just how good they had it. Capitalism good, communism bad. Enter Operation Mockingbird, a covert CIA operation designed with the goal of steering public opinion away from any
sorry, it
communist
doesn't feel
influence.
right
But a
asking
direct
you to
in-your-face
listen,
approach
but after
wouldn't do the
what you
trick.
pulled off
This needed to be more subtle and appear to be coming from multiple
Your men
trusted
have it rough
sources.
as it is.
The more widespread the idea, the easier it is to believe. Now you have to admit, the general population is easily swayed. That's why political campaigns work. But back in the 1950s or so, access to information was nowhere near what it is today. So many messages were taken at face value by the vast majority of Americans. If you heard from your favorite news sources that millions had died under Stalin's communist regime and that communism was spreading to the US, you're gonna shit a brick. If your favorite movies portrayed communists as evil little minions who want to steal your freedoms, you're gonna be one pissed off Polly. The only good commie is one that ain't alive no more. I'll work on that later. There's probably no better way to control the masses than by fear and anger. Under Operation Mockingbird, the CIA had infiltrated the majority of the US's main media outlets,
I don't know why they say
including
words
news
on it, but
broadcast
this one
stations,
says
journals,
wild on one
magazines,
side and
newspapers,
wise on the other.
movies, and radio, planting anti-communist
Some up
propaganda
on
and
wild
focusing
and
the
a
narrative
wise
on
by
good
equals. I
old
get a
American
buff for 10
values.
minutes.
The CIA had hundreds of members of the press, including many higher-up publishers and
It
editors
smelled
from across the
good, too.
nation,
I love
secretly
this
on the
kind of
government
candy.
payroll from the 1950s to the 1970s.
Mm.
These reporters and journalists would discreetly
Yeah,
gather
go ahead.
information about public opinion and disseminate CIA-authored pro-American,
Like, not the
anti-Soviet
chocolate kind,
stories,
but the
even
actual
if they were a
sugary
bit
kinds, like
over-exaggerated.
Pixie Sticks.
It was essentially the country's first
Smarties
wide-scale
and
fake
sweet
news
tarts
factory.
and, like,
If you read any
gummies.
kind of news article in the time, chances are it was written, or at least
Snickers are
heavily
good,
edited,
but
by the CIA.
They're a bit much.
The anti-communist propaganda had caused mass hysteria across the
I can
U.S.,
eat one little
resulting in
tiny
incidents like
Smartie
the
at a
Red
time,
Scare,
just
which
see
had
if I can
Americans
pretend
pitted against each other.
forever.
You just never knew if your friendly, well-groomed, handsome neighbor was secretly a communist sympathizer. Oh, hey, Todd. Yeah, I'm just watering the flowers, making sure they're all getting watered equally. I bet they'd probably water themselves if I gave them the hose. By the 1970s, Americans started to actually think a bit for themselves. With recent disasters like the Vietnam War and Nixon's Watergate scandal, government trust was in a bear market, and the public was buying puts. As an execution of checks and balances, the US Senate had unanimously approved the formation of the Church Committee in 1975. This committee, which consisted of 11 politicians and lawyers, was tasked with exposing the many suspected abuses of the CIA. And with their research, they blew the whistle on many of the CIA's horrid atrocities, bringing them right into the public spotlight. These included the notorious Project MK-Ultra, various assassination attempts on foreign leaders, attempts at overthrowing foreign governments, and of course, Operation Mockingbird. So, what do you have to say to accusations of CIA propaganda? I'd say that you could take a propaganda at my asshole, Senator. After the jig was up, the CIA claimed that all operations had ceased on the Mockingbird front, but of course, we know that that's not true. Nowadays, every one of us has access to more information than we could possibly process in a lifetime. Each article, video, post, blog, algorithm, just a potential gateway to subliminal messaging and swaying our decisions. Operation Northwoods is one of those things where you'd ask yourself, the US government wouldn't really do that, would they? Yes. Yes, they would. Back in 1959, communism had hit too close to home for the United States. Just outside the Gulf of whatever this is now, trouble was a-brewing in Cuba. That would be the Cuban Revolution, headed by this scraggly little scoundrel. Having just overthrown a corrupt, fascist, and US-approved government rife with economic inequality, Castro sought to even the odds for his fellow Cubans moving forward.
your whole
His
company?
answer? communism,
used to be
specifically
more of
the
us.
Marxist-Leninist flavor.
Something
But no
happens to
matter
the
the
men
type of
in these
communism,
hills.
the US wasn't too
Their
keen on
voices
having a communist nation a stone's throw
Someday
away from the
they'll
tip of
come
its
back.
dongle. It also didn't help that
Same
Castro
for
had
anyone
seized
who goes
control of
looking
all
for
American businesses in Cuba, including sugar and coffee plantations and oil refineries.
Maybe
In
a
response,
Walter
five-star
had
General
more
President
weapons.
Eisenhower had slammed the communist government with
lend a
strict
hand?
restrictions on trade and vowed to cast Castro aside. But that was another president's job. In 1961, shiny new President John F. Kennedy had attempted to huck Castro out of Cuba with the
Make
Bay
any
of Pigs
progress yet?
invasion. A group of
really
about
can't stand to lose
1,500
another
anti-Castro Cuban revolutionaries were taken in, trained, and had millions of American dollars worth of military equipment thrown at them. Here, go kill Castro. And so they
I'm on my way
tried.
across
The
to
Bay
secure
of
the
Pigs
cable
invasion,
car to the
though,
tower.
was an embarrassing
I'll gather
failure.
my equipment.
The Cuban military,
Hold on.
over 200,000
I still got the
strong,
small matter of
completely
taking
decimated
out
the
an
paltry
entire
invading
insurgent
force in
base
just a
first.
few days. Now, having just warded off what he knew was essentially a US invasion, Castro felt a bit big in his britches. The US needed a better plan, but they were limited with what they could actually do. Since Cuba was buddy-buddy with the big communist motherland, a direct invasion by the US would almost certainly mean a Soviet invasion in Europe, so President Kennedy needed to really use his head for this one. But it was actually his brother that authored a solution. Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy developed Operation Mongoose, a covert CIA operation designed to take down Castro's Cuba from the inside. CIA-funded Cubans would be recruited in Miami and dumped in Cuba to form a revolutionary militia. The US would influence political support for the would-be revolutionaries, which would lead to an eventual coup and usurp Castro, giving the US the chance to shape the government however they wanted. But a key part of that plan was to convince other nations that Cuba was wild, irrational, and dangerous, to the point of supporting US intervention. This is where Operation Northwoods comes in, a proposed CIA covert false flag operation aimed at executing domestic and foreign acts of terror against innocent civilians in order to justify aggressive US military action against Cuba. Some of the
God damn,
proposed
I'm
terrorist
rewriting
acts
this
included destroying a
amazing
US
rifle
ship
I
and
got.
conducting fake funerals, attacking Cuban refugees
assault
seeking
rifle,
haven in Miami,
349
planting plastic
firepower.
bombs in
It
strategic
shots
locations in
generate
Miami,
shield and
destroying
inflict
Dominican
vulnerable
Republic
on
crops
enemies
and
on a
planting false
4-second
evidence,
cooldown. That's my
and staging
reward for my
attacks on
mission.
US
I almost
aircraft.
got a regular
And the list goes
rifle,
on.
but I
But the
decided
most
to get
damning
this
evidence
because of
comes
how
straight
cool
from
it
the
was.
source.
It's 3-round
Here's an
burst,
excerpt
but
from
I
the
mean, whatever, that's
declassified
fine.
Operation
It's really
Northwoods
accurate.
document,
Now, I
highlighting
came
the
into
plan.
a problem, and it's that you would think that there's rifles, which are like single-shot rifles with 8 rounds without the scope. They would have like trade-off that they would be better than the bolt-action rifles. And it's that they can shoot semi-auto, they can shoot a little bit faster, but they do less damage. You would think that they have more ammo. Rifle literally has 8 rounds in the mag, plus 24. That's 32 rounds total? When the bolt-action rifles have 35, they hit harder, and they have a scope. So I'm just using bolt-action, I guess, forever. The actual regular rifle is complete dog shit. Unless I get one that is so good that I'm forced to use it, I don't know why I would use it. Oh, the crit multiplier is 250 instead of 200. That's why. And the automatic sniper rifle is 300 crit multiplier, but I mean, those actually have a bunch of ammo in them. They have a lot more ammo. Kinda need it. I mean, you go through it fast, but not like as fast as you can go off max. Generate shield. 3-round burst on this means it's actually highly accurate at range, even without a scope. It's me that's fucking up. I'm the non-accurate one. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'll just whip out the minigun. Fuck you guys. I love this game. They wanted to charge up to me. I'm like, yeah, well, I have a secret. I have a minigun. Damn. This game does not do well with trying to take it chill. There is no chill. You open the door to the next area and then you're in a fucking super duper firefight until you kill everyone in there. It feels bad solo in a way. I can't really, I don't know. Like, it's fine, but it feels like I should not be alone.
There's a
Really
lot of
shouldn't.
shit.
And again, yeah. Oh, I guess it actually scales the amount of people and stuff, so I should be fighting less people. But, fucker, dude. Love their little fiddly sounding fucking miniguns. Oh, there it is. Fiddly as fuck sounding. Let's rocket launcher his ass. I think there's 2 elites out. How am I gonna rocket launcher him?
Homing rockets.
Being able to generate shield on a Technomancer is kind of broken, that's why they're not allowed to do it. Basically means I could just sit there and tank anything because I'll be healing and generating shield at the same time, so no matter what, I can't die.
X.
I need it. I can't aim with this thing though. What is that? Pick it up. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Someone from the Division, I can't believe there's no, like, vault button where you can jump up a little tiny ledge. It just feels weird. It's supposed to be
You
climbing
can
up
vault over
ledges.
things.
No,
Okay.
you can't. Oh, you have to click onto it and then press space.
Well, there's also a control, like I think it's for your dodge button.
I
If
changed
you're,
it.
some
I
of the
changed
things will
everything.
vault right over.
Hey, Zahidi. There's nothing up here but monsters and insurgents, right? Why even bother fighting over these rocks?
Because of that tower. You understand why we built it, right? It was our last hope, our Hail Mary to find that signal. But it never worked. There was always too much anomaly interference, and without the frequency, it was impossible to track down. The insurgents eventually...
Don't care.
To fake a plane hijacking. Hijacking attempts against civil air and surface craft should appear to continue as harassing measures condoned by the government of Cuba. It is possible to create an incident which will demonstrate convincingly that a Cuban aircraft has attacked and shot down a chartered civil airliner en route from the United States to Jamaica, Guatemala, Panama, or Venezuela. The passengers could be a group of college students off on a holiday. An aircraft at Eglin Air Force Base would be painted and numbered as an exact duplicate for a civil registered aircraft. The duplicate would be substituted for the actual civil aircraft and would be loaded with the selected passengers, all boarded under carefully prepared aliases. The actual registered aircraft would be converted to a drone. The document goes on to explain how both planes would follow the same flight path, with the duplicate passenger-carrying craft secretly landing and safely evacuating all passengers. This plane would then be reverted back to its original appearance. The original empty plane would then continue its flight path over Cuba. Once in Cuban airspace, fake pilot radio transmissions would play, declaring that the plane was under attack by Cuban aircraft. The transmission would then be cut off by the plane's remote detonation, simulating its destruction by Cuban forces. The culmination of these events would undoubtedly rally Americans against the Cuban government, justifying and essentially greenlighting an American invasion. But then a little thing called the Cuban Missile Crisis happened. Turns out that the Soviet Union had secretly installed nuclear missiles in Cuba, which is hilarious, because the United States secretly installed nuclear missiles in Turkey. This was the closest the world ever came to an actual nuclear apocalypse. In order to avoid mutual destruction, the Soviets agreed to dismantle their nukes under the condition that the US dismantled their own nukes and cease all military aggression against Cuba. And with that agreement, Operation Mongoose was terminated and Operation Northwoods was shelved, hopefully never inspiring any future events. Operation Paperclip. Even if you're not a history junkie, you've probably heard of this. This is where US government ethics completely disintegrated like a big green fart in the wind. The Second World War wasn't one of just military strength, but of cunning, intelligence, and ingenuity as well.
Ooh, that thing
Emerging
had
technologies
spells,
gave each side advantages on the war front. The UK with its code-breaking Colossus
An assault
computer,
rifle.
Germany with its devastating V2 rocket technology, and of course the US with its catastrophic atomic bombs. Nazi Germany had
The
some of the
spaz
greatest
stock
scientific
upside
minds of the
down.
modern age. It's an indisputable fact. And after Germany's surrender, the US wanted to leverage that expertise for its own technological advancements. Of course, there was also a concern that the Soviets would attempt the same thing, so it became a matter of national security. Well, the Soviets did end up yoinking over 2,500 scientists and various equipment for themselves under Operation Oswiecim, but no one ever really talks about that. In July of 1945, a mere 2 months after the main mustache himself downed a pill and a bullet, Operation Overcast, later renamed Operation Paperclip, had commenced. An operation designed to scoop up Nazi scientists from Germany, seize their research and technologies, and grant them asylum in the US so they can help develop weapons against Japan, who was still very much determined to win the Pacific Theater. Something they'll retrospectively
Jesus
regret in
fuck.
about a month. Most of the scientists recruited were experts in the fields of rocket science, aviation, and chemical and biological warfare. Over 1,600 Nazi scientists were recruited into the American scientific community and given research jobs. That would be a hell of a resume. Okay, looks like it says here you held a position for a bit in Auschwitz. Hope I'm saying that right. As a camp counselor. Why don't you tell me more about that? No, because that's okay. Operation Paperclip had absorbed some of the most prominent figures of the German scientific community. For example, you had Hubertus Strukel, an aeronautical medical researcher. He was recruited into NASA and went on to design critical astronaut protective equipment for various spaceflight missions. During World War II, however, he was complicit in several human experiments at the Dachau concentration camp. There was also Heinz Haber, an aeronautical physicist that also participated in human experimentation efforts to further his research. Haber eventually became the chief scientific consultant for the Walt Disney Company in the 1950s. And of course, there was former SS officer Werner von Braun, Germany's leading rocket technology engineer who helped design the V-2 rocket through brutal slave labor. He became a NASA director and one of the most prominent figures in the American space frontier. He also worked with the Walt Disney Company to popularize the subject of human space travel. With American scientists now welcoming their new, funny-talking co-workers of questionable origin,
Once I get out of this
the
dungeon,
US
I'll get
had
on.
some cleaning up to do. See, the American public had zero knowledge of Operation Paperclip's existence, so it was up to the government to rebrand these Nazis as good old wholesome geniuses who all coincidentally wave at a 45-degree angle. Histories were hidden and war crimes were scrubbed for the sake of technological progress. And boy oh boy was there progress. With the help from the Germans, the US made unprecedented breakthroughs in aeronautical technology, largely contributing to the US's success in the space race against the Soviet Union with the Apollo missions. Over the following decades, however, many of Operation Paperclip's beneficiaries found themselves in the crosshairs of American journalists. Previously buried pasts were soon dug up, and links to war crimes were being reconnected. Fearing persecution and eventual prosecution, many of the scientists got the hell out of the US to seek refuge elsewhere. Although rumors of Paperclip circulated as early as 1946, the official documents were formally declassified under President Clinton's Nazi War Crimes Disclosure Act of 1998. Pretty messed up, right? Think about it, if you think these conspiracies are bad, just imagine the ones that haven't been confirmed. If you want me to dive into more conspiracies in another video, let me know with a comment. Anyway, if your sick mind is disappointed that Project MKUltra didn't make the list, don't worry. It's because I covered it in my third Evil Human Experiments video, which you can watch here. You can also check out my other content here. Remember to do the stuff in the thing, and I'll see you over there.
Memory is a funny thing, like how you can vividly remember something that happened 10 years ago, and yet you immediately forget that someone asked you to get them a sandwich when they got back at lunchtime.
I said I was sorry.
I think it's a sign of low intelligence or general bad character. Another way in which memory is strange is the fact that there are regular scenes in video games that we love and cherish that we completely forgot contain bizarre, creepy moments that shook us to our very core. I mean, you'd think we'd remember this stuff. It's terrifying. And yes, here are 7 WTF creepy moments that we forgot existed in some of our favourite games. Enjoy, and beware spoilers for the following.
In the course of writing these list videos, we play a bunch of different games. Recently among them was Drawn to Life the Next Chapter for the Nintendo DS. If we're being honest, none of us finished when it came out back in 2009. It was the UN's International Year of Reconciliation. I had a lot going on. And so, coming late in the game, we assumed, as you might, that it was a cute 2D platformer about little fox-like humanoids incorporating elements you drew on the touch-sensitive screen of your DS, including the player character.
They're hitting me with every single fucking bullet. 4 of them just sitting up there a mile away, shooting over the thing, not even aiming, but hitting every bullet.
Chapter that the entire
Getting
game
nailed
took
by
place
4 of
inside
them
the
if I
injured
step out
brain
and
of
cover
a
for
child
a
in a
fucking
coma.
millisecond. It was ridiculous. Somehow I survived.
Create a place through shapes and shades. Build a blinding stage where beauty is made.
As the credits roll, you witness a small boy asleep in a car with his sister and parents. Then a horrific accident that flips said car and also kills the mother and father, soundtracked by a disturbingly catchy pop song insisting that this is real life.
This is real life.
Can we go back to Unreal Life? Turns out the game was a coma fantasy. Big Sister Heather has been praying for her comatose little bro to wake up, and although he eventually does, their parents are canonically dead. This twist ending was so astonishingly dark that later versions of the game came with a different, much lighter reveal in the end credits, in which little bro Mike falls out of a tree and is knocked briefly unconscious, but then everyone is fine. If I had completed this game 15 years ago, I don't think I'd have forgotten that this creepy moment existed so much as traumatically repressed it. But in
What was this?
15 years ago, I don't think I'd have forgotten that this creepy moment existed so much as traumatically repressed it. But in any case, it's in my brain now. And also yours. You're welcome.
Head up.
If the Red Dead Redemption series is to be believed, about 40% of people's time in the Old West was spent cutting up animals and peeling off their skin. So, if you think about it, it was only a matter of time before some curious soul, in the middle of their daily animal disassembling session, decided to start sticking bits of different animals together to make horrifying chimeras. In Red Dead Redemption 2, someone has been doing just that up near the Van Horn trading post. If you're wondering about the other 60% of people's time, by the way, it's wandering in and out of strangers' houses, which is probably how you'll stumble across this house just out of town, which looks abandoned, but does have a light on in one of the upper floor windows. After a bit of cowboy parkour, players can make their way inside to this laboratory, where, oh my god, what the hell is that? Yes, I see. Looks like someone was trying to create a mishmash of a bear, a boar, an eagle, and a bunch of other stuff for reasons that I'm sure were clear to them, but remain a mystery to me. On the one hand, advances in science are a good thing, and a deeper understanding of the relationship between man and animals could be beneficial to the human race. But on the other hand, I am burning this place to the ground. See ya.
That game where it was all white and the enemies were all red and time only moved when you moved? I think it was called Tom Clancy's Red Guy Time Shooter.
Super hot. Super hot. Super hot.
Ah, no, that was it. At first blush, Super Hot was simply a slick first-person shooter with ingenious time manipulation that turned a straight-up gunfight into a bullet-time ballet of gun violence and improvised weaponry, like you were Neo crossed with John Wick, aka the perfect human being.
That's just Keanu Reeves.
What's your point?
Super hot. Super hot. Super hot.
Behind that stylish facade, however, was a curious meta-narrative in which the game you were playing was actually some kind of pirated prototype sent to you by an online friend. So when it wasn't being a fun puzzle shooter, superhot.exe would be glitching out or demanding a password from you, the unauthorized interloper. That was all fun and literally games until you closed in on the finale. By this point, you had gradually come to realise that the Superhot system was a front, conditioning you to do its bidding and surrender your mind, like TikTok trying to sell you an air fryer. A bit sus, and yet on you went, deeper and deeper into the simulation until finally, instead of shooting red guys, you were trying to merge your consciousness with a giant pyramid. Is it too late to get that air fryer? Only by uploading your brain to the sinister pyramid can you sever ties from your physical form. Ugh. finally, in the thrall of the system, your newly untethered avatar is guided home to find your expendable physical body still plugged into super hot. So you can zone yourself execution style because the video game told you to.
What?
Wow! Guess I won't be needing that air fryer after all.
Hold on, let me think.
Super hot. Super hot. Super hot. Oi.
While the Like a Dragon, formerly known as Yakuza games, are bombastic, over-the-top, and occasionally ridiculous, I'd hesitate to call them supernatural. That's the kind of thing you'd see on an average night out in Kamurocho, I expect. However, the series does occasionally dip into the paranormal in its many wacky sub-stories, pitting our protagonists against the likes of zombies and aliens.
Huh?
Which is all fine and good. What's less good is the sub-story from Yakuza Kiwami 2 called Rising from the Shadows, which begins, as so many Yakuza sub-stories do, with you being handed a suspect, possibly pornographic videotape by a weirdo in an alleyway. Probably don't watch that, hey Kiryu. And yet watch it he does, at which point it becomes clear that there's something off about this dirty video given to us by a stranger in the red light district. That's right, we've been ringooed! As if it weren't bad enough that we just got jump scared by a spooky ghost lady, it turns out that we're now cursed and need to pay a medium 100,000 yen to exorcise the demon lady, who is now allegedly hovering behind our shoulder the whole time.
Cool.
Time to get serious.
Alright, Outriders or Division? Nope.
Hello?
Hi,
Hello?
honey.
Yeller. How you doing?
Splurf.
Hello. Tyler Perry, get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
We're di- What do you do and still in the thing?
No, I guess you're AFK, but I asked if you wanted Division or Outriders.
I'm already in Outriders, so Outriders.
Okay, well then I'm waiting for you.
Alright, well I have to finish my thing.
Okay, well I have to go to the bathroom, so then I'll be right back.
Flying over the anomaly?
Of course they tried. I mean, back in the day when we had...
Dunham, I'm in sight of the radio tower. Have your people ready to grab that cable car and send Zahedi over.
Waiting on your word, Altered.
streamed my division earlier, which was like a really fun mission. One of the guys that I had to kill, I was like, oh, it was genuinely enjoyable, and like I don't know if I'm just, you know, a third-person looter-shooter kind of trance, or if these games are actually that fun. Right? Like, I just had a blast. Have a blast. Fucking shit up, dude. Yeah, and my anomaly power and shit, and the things I put on, I can make shrapnel do like 600 damage and hit like a nuke, or like a giant nuke. But I would rather, you know what? Yeah. No, what am I doing? What am I doing? Putting shrapnel on instead of pain launcher. Putting these gloves back on to increase the radius. This and that. It's less anomaly power by a good amount. So what does that turn it into? 483, but it's got a huge radius. And I have something else. Cryo turret. Bonus firepower, long range damage. I gotta put that on. Gotta put this on because it increases my overall firepower, which makes me do more damage overall. What does this helmet do? Cryo damage extra. Every turret shot deals extra 3 damage. I don't know if that's worth it anymore. I should probably switch up. Anomaly power, status power. Yeah, there we go. We're going crazy with that. We're going wild. Okay, 510 damage. 582 damage on the rocket launcher. Oh, that's why. That extra 3 damage for the cryo turret is like, it only does 10 damage there, so I put that on, my anomaly power goes down, and it does 11 damage. So yeah, that's better. Do I have? Great, I should have picked up my loot first, huh? Now I gotta go back and look through. I'm gonna mark some of this garbage. There it is. There it is! Cryo turret, extra duration by 30%, massive increase on the boots. 55 extra health. That was a huge upgrade. Oh no, my anomaly power went down. I hate this game. $400 even. Round burst.
There's some notes here.
Yep, second time here, and this little thing is not giving me a quest marker. That corpse on the ground that you were talking about.
Yeah, weird.
Whatever.
Captain, freed the cable car. It's yours.
Freed the cable car. Car with cables. Ah.
Outrider, if your frequency really works, if that radio tower leads us to the signal, if we can contact the Flores, needless to say, this can change everything.
One step at a time, Doc. Let's just get you over here in one piece.
Yes, that would be nice.
Hold it. The signal. That's...
No, we're too far away. There's too much interference from the anomaly to find coordinates. But I have a direction. God damn it.
What is it?
It's either in the forest or somewhere beyond.
What aren't you telling me?
Nobody's ever come back alive from the forest.
Yeah, I figured you're gonna say something like that. Listen. You hear that? Something's under the signal.
Is that a voice?
Whatever it is, let's not keep it waiting. Yakub, prepare the truck. We're heading towards the forest.
Oh, the forest? Of course. Driving into savage, uncharted territory and breeding a fungus that liquefies your organs was on my list of things to do today. You know, if I had a fucking nickel for every time...
Maybe we switch the radio off for a little while.
Yeah, I actually like my character. He's cool.
Hair.
He's got a radical, groovy eye scar.
Mm-hmm.
That's radical. Yeah, we made it all the way over there and then wrote the thing down. Oh. There's the collapsed one. Okay, well, just when shit was getting good on this guy. I should be able to invite you actually real quick. You can help me get to your level. Back to that new place.
Alright, let's play detective. If I was a missing soldier wandering off into the night hearing voices, where would I go?
Work that needs doing, she said. Always work that needs doing.
These powers. What I can do, none of it makes any fucking sense. Has anyone ever studied an altar or tried to understand why, how?
Opportunities for study aren't exactly lining up. You're the first to offer.
Oh, I'm not offering.
There is one who's known for delving into the secrets of your kind, but not gently. He's an alter notorious for the trail of experiments he's left behind. They call him the Alchemist. Both sides stay far away, but he has a lab somewhere deep in these mountains. If you go looking, be careful. But, of course, I'd be very curious to know what you find.
I'm in. Point the way.
It's insane.
You get what you needed from the tower, right? Can we go already? The forest. He wants to drag me back into the forest. Are you kidding me? Kurva.
Kurva. You're only one level higher than me.
Jump.
Kurva.
Yeah. And then he died.
No, you're just gonna make it worse.
No, I got it. I got it.
So,
The
we've got
Baby Yoda.
problems. Insurgents have taken the quarry, and the only road headed east has been mined. There's no way through unless we talk to Corrigan. He's the Grand Marshal up in Trenchtown, and he is not known for being generous to strangers. Fortunately, I told that charming young lady out there that we were headed east, and now...
Don't tell people where we're going.
Right, I wouldn't normally, but it turns out she's Corrigan's associate. She'll give us an intro if we help her drive up a package.
What kind of package?
Try anything, girly, and your short, pathetic life is over. You know, Shield Silver, sweetheart.
You.
Who are you?
Chana.
I go to the end of the fucking world, and you're still in my fucking face? Go drown in your bottle, asshole.
Why am I not surprised to see you in chains again?
That girl. Is she a friend of yours?
Someone from a long time ago.
Any reason she hates your guts so much?
Many.
Okay.
Hey, look around. What is this place anyway?
I feel like we're in a different area than we were in.
Cullen's turf.
Yep.
The only stop between Rift Town and Trench
What the
Town.
hell is
He ate her
this?
last
All
cookie.
the lumber to build the trenches on the front line comes from here. Used to be trees.
Actually, let's not do that. There's quests here first.
Hey, is anyone there? I'm trapped down at the lumberyard. There's uglies everywhere. Hello? You people just gonna let me die out here?
Hey, I hear you. I'm coming.
Oh, thank God. Thank you. I was a damn fool for taking this job to begin with. Should have stayed in the trenches. Ain't no goddamn monsters in the trenches.
There's one here inside this bunker as well.
That's sign.
What's the point of fixing
Oh, they're doing the thing.
Come on, come on. Can't lose.
Oh, I couldn't even figure it. Oh. Well, thank fucking God! About time they sent an altered. How do they expect us to hold this godforsaken...
Not here for you.
Oh, shit, man. We could really use your help. We've lost contact with our logging camp in the valley. My workers could have all been chewed into bloody gristle by goddamn face eaters for all I know.
The hell are you snorting? It can't be approved of around here.
Approved? You kidding? They'll send us to the wreckage zone if we don't take this. It's the only thing that helps us forget we're starving. They say it causes cancer after a dozen years, but nobody fucking lives long enough to care.
Tell me about the logging camps. You sent anyone to check on them?
Of course I sent people. I need that wood to fortify our trenches. Any delays cost goddamn lives! But my scouts never came back. Look, I know you're busy. You're a fucking altered. But could you find out what happened to them? I'll give you a cut of the action.
I'll help you this once, but don't get used to it.
Ah! Altered!
Why bother?
Shit! Elevator's jammed again. Soldiers! You're looking to be the biggest fuck-ups I've ever come across this side of the valley! Ain't nobody stupid enough to come down.
Sir Isaac Newton is the deadliest son of a bitch in space.
What do we have here?
Come on, take the I call it pretty if it wasn't doing its damnedest to kill us.
Interesting.
Most of the Arctic permafrost melted. About 200 billion tons of CO2 and methane released into the atmosphere. Oh no.
Oh no, indeed.
Average temperature of the Earth's oceans rising by 1 degree.
That's not good.
The entire ocean heating up by 1 degree? Yeah, that's kind of crazy. That's horrible.
I'd call it pretty if it wasn't doing any damage.
I don't know if you read that one, The Great Extinction.
Nope.
Kind of a fuck. Kinda bad time.
Did you hear where Flynn got us?
Yep. But life finds a way.
Sure, and we're gonna fucking die and starve and die.
Mm-hmm. And then a new generation of sapiens will come along someday, and they'll fuck it all up too.
Which way am I facing? Which way are we going? How do we go east to get out of here?
This way. Well, do you want to do the side quests or the main quest?
What do you think?
Side quests are over here.
Oh.
That's what's hanging out there.
Hey, Altered, you hear me? You gotta find out what the hell's going on out there. We need to get back to work.
Yeah, I hear ya.
I'm a businessman, you get me? I've made certain guarantees. Guarantees I cannot fail to meet.
Nice
I need to get back in business. You following me?
Ghoul man.
I'm a ghoul man.
Yeah, and then so there's another side quest here in this zone.
Some writing here.
Oh.
There's one there and there's one there, so yeah. Basically, there's 3 branches off this main area, and they're all side quests. Look on your map. This one is a free market. Just down the ways a bit is the historian one, and then at the end is the nature's call one.
That's great.
So I might as well do this and just move on down the road.
I'm a real outrider. Yeehaw. This game got a lot of work put into it. I don't understand.
It's Squeenix.
He'll have his first shipment tomorrow.
Corrigan?
It's culling guy just lost his business and doesn't even know it yet. Corrigan will do a better job of doing the lumber trade anyway, and we get more cash.
Why the hell is Corrigan taking over a logging camp?
Yeah, like I said, I think this is probably the same engine that Final Fantasy 15 or 16 are on.
we got a new bolt action. Thank the Lord. Stop that head, boy. Man, what are you doing? What are you trying to do to me? Where is my super suit? Yeah, that's good. Leave this on. Pick up a thing somewhere?
There was a piece of loot over here. Yeah.
You just don't care to tell me.
I was waiting for you to come over here because it sounded like you were in a menu or something.
With us, you were messing with Corrigan!
Jesus! Dude, seriously? Can you cover my back for 1 second?
I'm trying to kill this guy. He literally got me. Anyways.
Hold on. Two guys left that are too pussy to stick their heads out. Bosses are a bit too tanky. It's ridiculous. Oh my god, can you stop? I need to be right back.
Okay.
You immediately ran up. Now you can deal with it. Alright, sorry. Food got here way faster than I thought I would. Oh, I have 1 bullet left.
And there's ammo boxes around.
Yeah, I got one. It's weird, I thought that was it, but then you moved forward and it just spawns more people. It just loves doing that.
There's like 5 or 6 guys, it wasn't very much.
I headshotted all of them. I literally don't have my gun out. How do you have your gun out?
I just do. I can't shoot though.
Okay, come on. Let's go.
We getting new masters again?
New masters. What happened to the old ones?
I don't know. Some men came in. Corrigans, I think. And they killed them all. But it doesn't matter, because we just do as we're told. Cut wood, carry water. You think I care who holds the whip?
Okay, fuck this. I'm the only one here. You're free to go.
No.
What?
No, please let me stay. They'll send me back to fight. In the trenches. Here. I just work. And they feed me good. Please, believe me.
Okay, then.
Guess I should tell Cullen about this little clusterfuck.
You just got to teleport back.
Can we teleport back out there, or?
Yeah.
I guess we can. Okay. Yes. Why is my Y key not doing anything?
Why does this happen?
I don't know.
Do it.
I'm trying. I don't know why it's not working.
Oh my god. You do it then.